But the stock which we want to discuss at length is Balaji Tele. Why? Because the stock has seen an extraordinary run-up. It has gone from levels of 70 to levels of 140 in less than 6 months. A lot of HNI investors have checked in. The promoters have increased their stake, and there is a buzz in the market that the company could be raising money via the digital platform. So that's the case for chat, why we want to interact with the management of Balaji Telefilms. The group CEO Samir Nair joins us live in our Mumbai studio. Samir, good to have you back, and thank you for joining us. Should we start with the business first or the buzz first?
Well, I think business is more important. That creates the buzz.
Well, let's talk about the basic FY16. Now, the FY16 is a good year for you, but it's not a great year for you so far because the movie launches have not happened.
Right.
So do you think FY16 will be a moderate year and FY17 and 18 will be grand years?
I think so. I mean, in the sense that, say, FY16 is good because on a absolute basis of the television business, it's seen considerable growth. We've done really well. Lots of new shows, lots of new, projects have come up. The movie business has been slower this year. We've had fewer releases. Actually, we just have a few coming up. So FY17 will be a more, sort of correct year, where the movie and TV business become, sort of 50-50 for, the way our revenues work. But 16 has been good. 16 has been good because we've also spent a lot of time in building our movie pipeline. You used the opportunity of this market correction. Satellite prices went a bit soft, and, lots of movies have not been doing well. So it gives an opportunity to sort of,
Tell us about it. We're waiting for one good movie to come out. But what is the pipeline like?
Well, we've got coming up straight away is our comedy franchise, the third installment, Kya Cool? Kya Cool Hai Hum? Then there's a movie called Great Grand Masti, which is the continuation of the Masti and Grand Masti series. There's Azhar, which is a biopic on cricketer Mohammad Azharuddin. There's a movie called Udta Punjab, which is on the drug problem in Punjab, with Shahid and Alia and Kareena and Diljit. There is Half Girlfriend, Chetan Bhagat's novel, which will come up. There's A Flying Jut, which is being directed by Remo D'Souza, who did ABCDs, and it's got Tiger Shroff. This is the start of our superhero franchise, and we're going to do many more like that.
So all this in next 12 months?
All this in the next 12 to 15 months, as in by March 17, all of this. And in the meantime, we've been building a pipeline for 17, 18 and 18, 19.
So the way you work is that you work on a cost plus basis, which means you make a bare minimum when you're making a movie.
Well, actually, the movie business, has a better risk and reward sort of situation in it. The TV model is a cost plus model.
Okay.
The movie business really has a much bigger upside. What we try and do in the movie business is that we try and plan it in a manner that you mitigate risk as much as possible. So as they love to say in the movie business, the movies don't flop, the costs flop. So it's usually the economics that go wrong.
I thought every movie now is doing 100 crores. There is no flop.
Well, 100 crores is a number, but the math of the movie is that, because of the 100 crores, you anyway get only 45%. Then after that, you got to get the other revenues, and all of that has got to add up to your cost and the cost of the money. So, I mean, it's really the key is...
I'm sure you're not complaining about the movie business. I think it's doing rather well.
No, movie business is really good. In fact, we are really bullish about the movie business because it's really going to grow. Entertainment is a really important factor, and new avenues are opening up. So between TV and theatre and digital and all of that, it's a hungry audience.
I heard you mention a figure at the start. You mentioned that while this year it's not been 50-50, you expect next year movie and television to be 50-50. Is that going to be an endeavor? That over the course of the next few years, it'll at least be 50-50.
We would attempt, because we would attempt to do about 6 to 8 movies a year as a slate, because then that is, it helps create a portfolio. It's like a portfolio at the end of the day. So, some movies do well, some not so well. So you want to sort of even that out.
And that helps kind of take your operational metrics higher?
It does, because one, of course, is that, you have, of course, as all major studios in the US, you have good years and bad years. What you don't want to have is many bad years together, and you must look at it over a 7-year horizon, like a classic portfolio. So I think that's the sort of approach. Now we've built up a pipeline for the next 3 years where we hope to do 6 to 8 movies every year, and then sort of go from there.
Tell us more about the digital business. How do you see that shaping up, say, in the next 2 to 3 years?
Well, the digital business is super exciting, primarily because of the way this whole thing has taken off. In 2003 or 4, I remember we were doing an internal presentation at Star, and this was, we were talking about the mobile, revolution at the time, and it was, I think that those days we used to have about 50-60 million mobile phones, and the projections for 2015 were some, 150 mobile phones, 150 million mobile phones. That, of course, as you know, has wound up becoming quite absurd, and it's a totally different number. So I think this whole space is growing very rapidly. India has skipped a few steps. So, you know, typically the television business goes from single TV to multiple TV homes.
Yeah.
We've gone from single TV to multiple screens. So we missed the 2 TV home per se. Another thing that's happened is the TV business has missed the premium subscription channels totally. So we've gone from mass entertainment to suddenly on-demand entertainment on digital.
Is it true you're raising money for digital? 200 crore rupees is the sum which is doing the rounds?
Actually, I know, even I heard about that, and in fact it's been reported. What we are doing actually is that we are out there talking to all our investors and shareholders and bringing them up to speed with all our plans. It's something that as a company we've not done. So as part of our, you know, just a brand building exercise, and also reaching out to people and telling them what we are doing. It also serves as a good validation strategy. As you know, we go and meet all the investors and shareholders and tell them, you know, this is how the TV business is doing, this is how the movie business is doing, this is the plans for all, and you know, get feedback.
So no do you not need money for the digital business?
No, we will need money, but at this point in time, you know, stuff like how much and, you know, what dilution, at what level, and who is, you know, what is the valuation, these things are not...
So I've been told the management has been on a roadshow.
Again, as I'm saying, that is a
that's just routine hygiene.
It's, yeah, actually it's something that we've never done, you know, like we've never been really out there talking to people. So we thought, and also it's a good thing, what it does for us is that when we meet people and we explain to people, especially from the financial community, as to what the plans are, you get a lot of great feedback. Feedback in the sense that people ask a lot of questions. So including questions about connectivity, about, you know, will people pay, will this happen, or who wants to see this. So it also helps us articulate and, you know, sort of crystallize our own strategy better.
We should do these interactions more often. Trust me, we can ask all of these questions
We can
and
go
more.
on.
I'd be happy to answer.
It's a job.
So let's understand the margins for your digital business, for projected digital business,
Right.
for your movie business, and for your television content business.
Right. So see, the TV business operates on this cost plus model, which is that, you know, where it's a commission model, you get paid by the broadcaster, and you then sort of, you know, operate on that production margin. So that's pretty static, and then it sort of grows from there. You know, you try to get better ARPUs, you try and increase the realization per hour, and you get efficiency when the show stays on air for longer.
So if the show is a high TRP show, do you make more money even?
You make a
in the
little
business?
more money,
Okay.
but not a wild amount of money, because the entire reward on that basis is with the broadcaster. So I mean, a high TRP show is more money for the broadcaster, not necessarily for you. There is an incentive scheme that's worked out.
How does it work in the movie business? If a
In the
movie is a
movie
hit, how does
business,
it
the
work?
difference is that now technically the risk is yours. I mean, the question is, depends on your risk appetite. And then you could make a movie and sell it off to a studio. So then, you know, the studio takes all the risk, but otherwise the risk is yours, and then the reward is yours. So if the movie is an outstanding hit, then you own the IP of the movie, and of course then all the upside is yours. So, you know, the margins vary. What we try and do, of course, is because, you know, you can have big swings, as in things can do very well or not so well. You try and sort of, you know, even it out to operate on, you know, some sort of minimum fixed margin.
And you said that eventually you will need money to be raised for the digital platform.
Well, at this point in time, you know, as our plans, you know, crystallize better, we'll see where we end up with that. But I suppose in all likelihood, but there's nothing detailed yet.
But don't you have an internal timeline in mind that maybe you will need it, say 12 months down the line or 6 months down the line?
Well, we are in the process. 12 to 24 months is the theory, but let's see.
Okay,
And
so
you'd be okay to dilute stake if that were to be the
It
need.
depends on how we structure that and how it works out. But yeah, I mean, there's nothing.
So let's get closing comments from you. So far, you've not raised debt on your balance sheet.
No.
It's a zero debt company.
Right.
You're growing in areas which are some are high risk, some are low risk business, but without damaging your balance sheet.
Right.
Now, digital will involve a lot of upfront cost. You'll have to invest a lot in technology, in terms of medium, in terms of buying equipment, because that's a different kettle of fish.
Right.
Can this balance sheet handle a digital venture?
Well, the way we are planning it is that it's designed to handle it.
Okay.
Obviously, you know, when a company is looking to grow, you know, there's a, you know, an extremely safe, secure, you know, model that's been functioning for so many years. Now, when we're looking at a growth strategy, it will involve a certain degree of, you know, whatever you call it, stress, strain, risk, all of that. You know, all the angst of this. But we are very bullish and excited about this. We think it's a great opportunity. We think we are in a very unique space. We are the only television company that makes movies, the only movie company that makes TV. No one else does that. We are a content creating company for the last 20 years. There is obviously a need gap in this business. Content is king. As they say, it's financing the kingdom that's complicated. But content is king. So
Who's your peer? Eros?
Eros actually is a different space, because again, a lot of the other players are operating on this thing of the aggregated libraries, you know, where they have lots of aggregated libraries, and this content is of course available everywhere. So I don't know, I mean, when you talk about peers, all the broadcasters with their digital plays are peers. Eros would be a peer, Spool, whatever, NextGTV, I mean, there are so many players there. So I think what will differentiate is, you know, individual strategies and, you know, execution.